Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today we have Jennifer Barnes with us, and Jennifer is an expert in business. I will put it that way. She can explain it in more detail, but Jennifer, if you could just tell us a little bit about how you got from Las Vegas to San Diego and into the business that you now run and are a founder of.
How long is this episode? No, I'm just kidding. I'll give you the short version.
We can go for a couple days. It'll be fine.
After growing up in Las Vegas and going to college in Arizona, I was pretty much like no more desert. And so I decided Southern California was the place to be. Love San Diego. I've been here almost 25 years, so it's definitely home at this point in time. I actually started off as a staff accountant at Petco, the pet store company. And I was a sales audit analyst for a while, helping to deal with all the check fraud in the early 2000s. So 2001, 2002, there was a ton of check fraud. And so I got to do a bunch of reconciliation work and catching all the scammers. So that was fun. But I really got bored of the 9 to 5 type of life. And so then I kind of stumbled into the mortgage industry, and I was a controller for a privately held mortgage company that ended up growing to about 200 people over a few year period. And so instead of the 9 to 5, I was 9 to 9, basically.
You're trying to get out of 9 to 5, and
Yeah.
now.
Well, I think part of the 9 to 5 is just being bored. It's like you finish your job in 4 or 5 hours and there's nothing to do. And so that's one of the reasons I created the model that we have now, which is about a lot of flexibility. So I think different parts of my career and my path has helped create to form this amazing flexible organization that I now run. But to backtrack, I spent a few years in the mortgage industry, and then the market, dropped in 2007, 2008, the housing market dropped. So I had to pivot a bit and started consulting as a controller. And I worked for a couple consulting firms. I worked for one about 13 years ago that we just had a difference of opinion. I thought things should be done one way, and they thought they should be done another way. So long story short, I was fired from that organization. And
Wow.
Several of my clients and team members decided to come with me. Started out of my living room and built one of the fastest growing companies in San Diego County. That lasted about 6 years. I won't get into details, but I did have partners at that company, and they were not great partners. We weren't very aligned, especially when it comes to, how do you exit a business and what do you want to do longer term. The guys were 20 plus years older than me and had more of a focus on profits and getting out of the business at some point in time, whereas I really was about building and giving back and creating an amazing company where people wanted to work and just growth and build mode. So in 2018, the two guys, I guess, set me up, if you want to kind of frame me, set me up and did a hostile takeover and essentially pulled the business out from under me. And I had to majorly pivot, as I've done a few times in my career now. And I started Optima Office. That was in September of 2018. About close to 30 people ended up coming with me to start Optima.
Whoa.
Bunch of clients. And so we ended up doing a little over 3 million our first year in revenue.
Fantastic.
Now we're in year 7, and we're looking about 14 million this year and a little over 100 employees. So that's the short version.
That's plenty. That's plenty succinct. So that's fantastic. So tell us what Optima Office actually does then.
Yes, of course. We provide fractional controller and CFO services, along with bookkeeping and human resource services. So everything from HR consulting, handbooks, onboarding, offboarding, employee relations, recruiting, all the HR tasks that most people don't want to do, and then all the executive leadership functions that not many people are equipped to do.
Wow. Yeah. And a great need out there, obviously, given your growth pattern.
It is. I think one of the reasons for our growth, some companies in my same space, in the same industry, took 15 years to get where we are, 15, 20 years even. I think what differentiates us is our speed of execution, and that we're not just so focused on how well Optima does and our profitability. We really care more about, are the employees happy? Do they have a great place to work? Are clients happy? Are they getting what they need from us? And so we've got a speed of execution, we've got a lot of flexibility, and we're extremely kind and caring about our approach and how we handle relationships. So we've just skyrocketed.
So are you all virtual? I see you have, it looks like an office behind you.
I'm in an office. Yes, we have just under 4,000 square feet here in San Diego. We're actually moving into a little bit bigger space in about 6 months, but we are hybrid, I would say. A few of our team members only come in 2 to 3 days a week, and then the rest of them might be in Florida or Colorado or Arizona. So of the 110 people that we have right now, we have about, let's call it 30 that are not located in California.
They're on the job site with some other company.
Well, if they're in Florida, unless we had a client in Florida that was close to their home, then all their work would be remote.
Ah,
If they live in San Diego somewhere, then depending on where they live in San Diego, and if their client wants them on site, then they would go on site. Prior to COVID, it was probably 70% on site work, maybe 30% remote. And now it's swung the other direction where maybe we're 30-40% of the time on site, and then the rest of the time is remote. But yeah, we have a pretty flexible approach. It's really what the client prefers.
so I assume that in some cases you provide HR and financial work. In some cases you only do HR. How's that mix?
It's really whatever the client prefers and what they need. Not everybody needs a lot of HR services, although one could argue that every company needs a little bit of HR, just more
Yeah.
preventative.
Oh, yes, I would argue that.
But no, it could be they just need a CFO. It could be they just need a controller and a staff accountant, but then they also might need HR. It could be that they don't want to deal with any of their back office. And so they might have a bookkeeper, an accounting manager, a controller, a CFO, an HR manager, and an HR director from
Oh,
us.
wow. So
Um,
you provide the full suite if need be.
yeah, you could say it's a la carte or the whole enchilada. It really depends on the company and what their needs are.
So how do you market yourself?
We actually don't do too much marketing. It's all been word of mouth. We've grown mostly on our reputation and the referrals that we get from a number of sources. But in the last year, we've upped our marketing efforts. And so more just search engine optimization, like a lot of good content, a lot of, just making sure you have the keywords. But that's
Doing
that's
all the
gonna be more of
basics.
a focus.
Yeah. Do you have a web person on board, or do you sub that out?
We sub that out. I think anytime you don't have a need for one level full time, then it makes sense to outsource. So
Okay.
like, we don't have just one IT person. We have an entire firm that does our IT. We don't
Yeah.
have one marketing person. We have a couple of firms that do our marketing.
Oh, wow.
We do have a website relaunch. So we are working on our new website. Should be done in the next couple of weeks. And I'm excited. It looks like the company has done a pretty good job. And then we're going to focus more on nationwide marketing efforts. Being known as a nationwide firm, as a thought leader, and as a flexible company that any firm from here to even the UK or Canada might want to work with us.
You're going worldwide. Let's go
Oh,
global.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, actually, in this day and age, it really makes no difference. Numbers are numbers, and HR is HR. I mean, I'm sure it changes from country to country, but still, all the basics are there, right?
Yeah, and it's about the team approach and the person. So I think one of the nice things that I've really spent a lot of time focusing on is having a good cultural fit. And so we have almost 40 controllers and always have capacity. And so if a company comes to us and they said, "Oh, we want somebody that speaks French, it's going to be remote. We want them to know Acumatica software. We want them to know QuickBooks or whatever the software is. And I'm going to look into our pool of people and say, okay, which one of our employees is the best fit for this? Okay, we've got a CFO that speaks French. He'd be perfect for the strategy and the high level forecasting. And then we have an accounting manager or controller that has Acumatica experience. Okay, we're going to use that team. And so we're very intentional about the team that we select based on the client's needs. And not most firms can't do that. They don't have a huge selection like we do.
Right. So, okay, so I'm going to kind of veer off into the property management world. Do you manage some property, or do you work with property management groups, or have you ever done property management as part of your services?
We do. Yeah, real estate and property management, real estate developers are definitely um, a slice of our industry pie. I would say
Oh,
it's more like 8 to 10% of our clients are in that space. We have about 15% of our clients that are in the nonprofit world.
oh,
We do
okay.
manufacturing, distribution. It's probably 20% professional services. But real estate's definitely a niche of ours. You know, Yardi, MRI, Acumatica, all those fun softwares that are a specialty for the real estate world. Rent manager, you know, we know them all.
We, wow, we know them all. Yardi, the whole works.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course.
All right. Well, this is very exciting. So, just out of curiosity, if you have a client come in and they say, we want this or that, and you don't actually have somebody in that position that could help them, do you go out and find a new person? How do you handle that?
It's very rare. I mean, we have a pretty diverse bunch of people. And what we find is if we are getting several clients that might have Yardi and we are limited on our capacity with Yardi, then we will start finding somebody else for the team that knows that software, or we'll start cross training. We'll do a lot of guided trainings for our team. Hey, who wants to learn Yardi? Okay,
Yeah,
get 4 or 5 people that know the software. That way, if a Yardi client comes in, we already know how to tackle it. Probably 60% of our clients use QuickBooks.
yeah.
And so everybody has to know QuickBooks here at the firm. But we do a lot of Sage Intacct. We do a lot of NetSuite. There's
Wow.
Deltek, there's Uninet, there's Epicor. There's all sorts of them out there. And so we have to know them all. But I would say if we really didn't have the right fit at Optima for what a client needs, I would actually refer it to one of our competitors.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
I'm friendly competitors. There's so much business to go around, and I wouldn't want to do a bad job or to take on a client that really wasn't a good fit for us. I'd rather I even send it to a bigger firm.
yeah. Say, hey, that's not our key. Uh, so hey, go talk to these folks.
Yeah, I mean, I did it with a fairly large company. They needed like 3 or 4 people on site daily in Orange County. And I
Yeah,
knew one of our competitors had several people in Orange County and they could do it. And I'd be having to, have maybe one Orange County person, then another person from LA drive down, and then one person from Oceanside drive up. And I'm like, you know what? This is not the right fit. I'm going to give it to someone that I know is going to do a really good job. And that creates goodwill with them because then if it's not a good fit for their organization in the future, they'll send it to us. So it's good
uh,
to have those nice partnerships out there.
so I'm curious, how many competitors are in your space, so to speak? Is this a full group of people that are doing similar things, or is this a kind of wide open territory?
I would say the barriers to entry on this space are somewhat high because to get more than 30 employees and to have enough capacity at different levels with different levels of experience and software and industry, it's hard and it's a lot of risk and it's a lot of capital. And so the big players, the larger CPA firms and private equity, are coming in and buying a lot of the smaller firms.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
but I would say in San Diego, I can think of 10
Ah,
companies that do what we do. Maybe 3 of them are the same size or larger than us.
oh,
So we're probably one of the larger ones out there, especially in Southern California, with our number of people and revenues. But there's different focuses. So there might be a company that focuses heavily in the nonprofit space. There might be one that focuses heavily in biotech and life science. And so certain companies have their niche,
Yeah.
and
Right.
whereas we're very agnostic. We service every single industry, every single software, really have flexible solutions. And so we haven't really needed to create a niche. We have about 350 clients right now. And so it's kind of all over the place.
Well, so what do you think the future is going to bring? Is this going to be an expanding market? I personally think it probably is, but you tell me.
Absolutely. What I've seen, I've been in this space for about 15 years now. I was a consultant in this space, and then I have started 2 companies in this space, and we're always busy.
Mm.
We continue to be busy. I tend to take more risk in hiring people even when we don't need them yet, because we get at least 10 clients every single month.
Oh, wow.
And it's been like that for 12 years. Always getting, 8 would be a very, very small month. Sometimes we get 19 clients in a month. But I think, especially with the pandemic and how that changed the business atmosphere, when you used to want a warm body there all day long, you realize, what was that warm body doing? Are they really good at all the bookkeeping work or the easy work or the office management work? Or are they really good at the CFO strategy side? Because they're not good at both. Um,
Right.
and if you have a CFO doing bookkeeping, that's not very cost effective. And I can't imagine that person likes what they're doing.
No.
And then if you've got a bookkeeper who wants to be a CFO, okay, that's going to take them a really long time to get there, if ever. And so you want the right person doing what they're good at every single level. And if you don't have a need for 30 plus hours a week at one level, then you should outsource. And it's more cost effective, it's more efficient. It's just a much better approach than just having that, Betty the bookkeeper who can do everything for you, sitting there all day long, when Betty's not going to give you the KPIs and the forecast and the analysis and build out a Power BI dashboard to make sure all your information's at your fingertips. They probably still have a paper ledger out there, and want you to turn in every single receipt physically, and so it's a different world. And as technology evolves and as AI evolves, you don't want to be stuck in an archaic way of doing business, especially on paper.
Well, that's interesting. So, how much of your business is actually doing strategic planning for different companies?
We have 14 CFOs at Optima, and so it's probably about 10 to 15% of our business. Our controllers make up 50% of our overall revenue and top line. I think the controllers, it depends on if the clients want that strategy, if they want cash flow forecasts, if they want a budget in place, they want Power BI, they want the analysis and the KPIs. Many of our controllers can do that. But some people are on a big budget. They're like, we can only afford $3,000 a month. We can't afford the bells and whistles. We just want the bookkeeping done. We want basic financials. And so, we're not really salesy, although we know they need those things. We want to make sure that they can afford those things, and they're really seeing the value in it. And, frankly, not enough companies are really seeing the value that their accountants can bring them if they're giving them the right information.
So, what's your typical kind of length of time that you have a client?
We just figured that out recently. Our average tenure is close to 3 years.
Okay.
We have 350 clients. So that
Yeah.
could mean somebody just uses us for a project, 3 to 4 months, or maybe they want us for 6 years.
Yeah.
We have clients that have been with me even from my first company. And so we've got companies that have been with us for 8, 9, 10 years, some that have been with us for 5 or 6, some just started with us last month. So it's a hard number to calculate.
Yeah. No, but there is turnover, so to speak. And
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, but well, I think that's a very interesting matrix where you say if you're only spending 30 hours a week on say a CFO, you need to outsource it. So that's probably a very common situation out there that a lot of people are spending money for a CFO that they don't necessarily need full time.
They might only need 10 hours a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the kind of the minimum that you should have a CFO if you're doing more than about 7, 8 million in revenue. You probably need at least 10 hours a month of a CFO. But if you really wanted to get the value and you wanted to spend a little more and invest in your company's financial operations, then you'd probably want 8 to 10 hours a week.
Well, that's
But
it.
yeah.
Yeah. So how many clients is say, well, that probably varies from person to person, but how many clients does one of your CFOs say work on, like three or four at a time?
I'd say 8 to 10.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Some have 14, 15. Some
Yeah.
have 4, some have 5. We have a thing called flex-tirement.
Oh, flex-tirement. Okay.
Retirement.
About flex-tirement.
That is for people that want to retire, but not fully. And so they might only have 20 hours a week to give Optima. They want to stay engaged. They want to work on their clients. It might be in their early 60s or late 60s or even early 70s, but they're so fantastic. They're so smart. They have amazing backgrounds. And we would rather have them on our team 2 days a week than not have them at all. Not only can they mentor younger staff people and do more trainings, they can also give such wise advice to our clients that need it. If you've done 10 M&A transactions or you know how to fundraise, or you know how to do some mean strategic planning, then why not at least give some of your time to 4 or 5 companies who need it? And so we have probably, say, 10, maybe 12 of our employees are in that stage of life where they don't want to work full time, but they don't want to quit working. So
That's
they might only
fantastic.
have 3 or 4 clients.
Yeah. But they're happy and the clients are happy and you get all this wisdom that's been built up over the years. So it sounds like a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. All right. Well, I think I know enough for now, but what is your favorite sandwich, Jennifer?
Oh, I love the California Delight from Board and Brew with their special sauce.
The special sauce. All right. Well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to find one of these so I can figure out what that special sauce is and who in the world, maybe alive or maybe not so alive, would you like to spend time with eating this?
Yeah, one of my grandparents, either my oma or my grandfather on my mom's side.
Were they in Las Vegas with you?
No,
No, they were back in Germany or wherever.
my oma lived in Apple Valley
Oh,
for
wow.
a very long time, so Riverside area, and then my grandparents lived up in Placerville near
Oh, wow.
Sacramento.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
This has been a pure delight, a California delight to speak with you. So it's great to have you. I look forward to talking to you again down the road here. We'll see what the future brings us.
All right. Thank you so much. It was great talking with you as well.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.